I'm going to make a quick video here from the book of Enoch, chapters 1 through 12. Okay, it's a quick summarization of basically the earth and what's coming upon the earth. Uh, it's going to tell you a lot of things the Lord does is cyclical. So you're going to notice things that you've probably heard about, whether it be giants or different things like that, and what happened in the earth when these things started to show themselves, and the technology that they started to do upon the earth, and things that started to increase. Okay. No man knows a day or hour, but definitely listen to this. It's going to be maybe 10 minutes max of scripture, and I'm just going to read through it. I might stop. I probably won't stop. I'll let it speak to you how it speaks to you. But definitely listen to this, especially if you're part of the Kodashim and you are one of the chosen elect. Okay, even if you're not one of the chosen elect, listen to it, because the people are destroyed from a lack of knowledge, and it's good to know what and who Elohim is. Okay. Okay, so if you would like, definitely pause it here. Go ahead and read it. All right, and then you can definitely once again pause it here and go ahead and read it. Okay, I'm going to go through it and read it out loud, and I might stop it a few times. We'll see. Okay, so the word of the blessing of Chanakh, how he blessed the elect and the righteous who were to exist in the time of trouble, rejecting all the unrighteous and wicked. Chanakh, a righteous man, who with Elohim answered and spoke, while his eyes were open, and he saw a holy vision in the heavens. This the angel showed me. From them I heard all things and understood what I saw, that which will not take place in this generation, but in a generation which is to succeed in a distant period, on account of the elect. Upon their account I spoke and conversed with him. Who will go forth from his habitation, the holy and mighty one, the Elohim of the world? Who will hereafter tread upon Mount Sinai, appear with his host, and be manifested in the strength of his power from heaven? And all shall be afraid, and the watchers be terrified. Great fear and trembling shall seize them, even to the ends of the earth. The lofty mountains shall be troubled, and the exalted hills depressed, melting like a honeycomb in the flame. The earth shall be immersed, and all things which are in it perish, while judgment shall come upon all, even upon the righteous. But to them shall be given peace. He shall guard the elect, and towards them exercise clemency. Then shall all belong to YHWH, be happy and blessed, and the splendor of YHWH shall illuminate them. Behold, he comes with 10,000 of his Kodashim. Kodashim is the chosen elect, saints, set apart ones, to execute judgment upon them, and to destroy the wicked, and reprove all the carnal for everything which the sinful and wicked have done and committed against him. All who are in the heaven know what is transacted, that the heavenly luminaries change not their paths, that each rises and sets regularly, everyone in its proper period, without transgressing the commands. They behold the earth and understand what is there transacted from the beginning to the end of it, that every work of Elohim is invariable in the period of its appearance. They behold summer and winter, that the whole earth is full of water, and that the cloud and the dew and the rain refresh it. They consider and behold every tree, how it appears to wither, and every leaf to fall off, except of 14 trees, which are deciduous, which wait from the old to the appearance of the new, for 2 or 3 winters. Again they consider the days of the summer, that the sun is upon at its very beginning, while you seek for a covered and shady spot on account of the burning sun, while the earth is scorched up and with fervid heat, and you become incapable of walking either upon the ground or upon the rocks in consequence of that heat. They consider how the trees, when they put forth their green leaves, become covered and produce fruit understanding everything, and knowing that he who lives forever does all these things for you, that the works at the beginning of every existing year, that all his works are subservient to him and invariable, yet as Elohim has appointed, so are all things brought to pass. They see too how the seas and the rivers together complete their respective operations. Here we go. You endure not patiently, nor fulfill the commandments of YHWH, but you transgress and calumniate greatness, and are malignant are the words in your polluted mouths against his majesty. You withered in heart, no peace shall be to you. Therefore your days shall you curse, and your years of your life shall perish. Perpetual execration shall be multiplied, and you shall not obtain mercy. In those days shall you resign your peace with the eternal maledictions of all the righteous, and sinners shall perpetually execrate you, you the wicked. The elect shall possess light, joy, and peace, and they shall inherit the earth. But you unholy shall be accursed. Then shall wisdom be given to the elect, all of whom shall live, and not again transgress by impiety or pride, but shall humble themselves, possessing prudence, and shall not repeat transgression. They shall not be condemned the whole period of their lives, not die in torment and indignation, but the sun of their day shall be completed, and they shall grow old in peace, while the years of the happiness shall be multiplied with joy, and with peace forever the whole duration of their existence. It happened after the sons and men multiplied in those days, that daughters were born of them, elegant and beautiful. And when the watchers, the sons of heaven, beheld them, they became enamored at them, saying of each other, Come, let us select for ourselves women from the progeny of men, and let us beget children. Then their leader Shemaiah said to them, I fear that you may have perhaps be indisposed to the performance of this enterprise, and that alone stop reading it from my phone. Sorry, slow me down. Perform of this enterprise, and that alone shall suffer for grievous crime. But they answered him and said, We all swear and bind ourselves by mutual execrations that we will not change our intention, but execute our projected undertaking. Then they swore all together and bowed themselves by mutual execrations. Their whole number was 200, who descended upon Ardis, which is the top of Mount Chermon. The mountain therefore was called Chermon, because they had sworn upon it, and bound themselves by mutual execrations. These are the names of the chiefs: Shemaiah, who was the leader, Urakabamiel, Akiabel, Tamiel, Ramuel, Danel, Azkael, Sarachniel, Asael, Amers, Batrael, Anael, Anim, Zavebi, Samsaviel, Ertael, Terel, Yamiel, Arazael. These were the prefects of 200 angels, and the remainder were all with them. Then they took women, each choosing for himself, whom they began to approach, and with whom they cohabitated, teaching them sorcery, incantations, dividing of roots and trees. And the woman conceiving brought forth Nephilim, and they bore to them 3 races first. The great Nephilim, the Nephilim brought forth, and the Nephilim brought forth Nephilim, and the Nephilim brought forth the Eliodad, and they existed, increasing in power according to their greatness, whose stature was each 300 cubits. These devoured the labor of men until it became impossible to feed them, when they turned themselves against men in order to devour them, and began to injure birds, beasts, reptiles, and fish, eat one another's flesh, and to drink their blood. Then the earth reproved the unrighteous. Moreover, Azazel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, breastplates, and fabrications of mirrors, and the workmanship of bracelets and ornaments, the use of paint, the beautifying of eyebrows, stones, and every valuable and select kind, and all sorts of dyes, so that the world became altered. Impiety increased, fornication multiplied, and they transgressed and corrupted all their ways. Amarzarak taught all the sorcerers and dividers of roots, Armers the solution of sorcerers, Bacharel the observers of the stars, Akibiel signs, Tamiel taught astronomy, and Asarel taught the motion of the moon. And the men being destroyed cried out, and their voice reached to heaven. Then Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, Suriel, Uriel looked down from heaven, and saw the quantity of blood which was shed on earth, and the iniquity which was done upon it, and said one to another the voice of their cries, The earth deprived has cried even to the gates of heaven. And now to you, O Holy One of heavens, the souls of men complain, saying, Bring judgment to us from El Elyon. Then they said to their Adonai, the King, Adonai ha-Aronim, Elohai ha-Elohim, Melech ha-Amalekim. The throne of your glory is forever and ever is your name sanctified and glorified. You are blessed and glorified. You have made all things, and you possess power over all things, and all things are open and manifest before you. You behold all things, and nothing can be concealed from you. You have been seen what Azazel has done, how he has taught every species of iniquity upon earth, and has disclosed to the world all the secret things which are done in the heavens. Shemiezer also has taught sorcery, to whom you have given authority over those who are associated with him. They have gone together to the daughters of men, they have lain with them, have become polluted, and have revealed their sins. To them the women likewise have brought forth Nephilim, and thus the whole earth has been filled with blood and with iniquity. And now behold, the souls of those who are dead cried out and complain even to the gates of heaven. Their groaning ascend, nor can they escape from the unrighteousness which is committed on earth. You know all things before they exist. You know these things and what has been done by them, yet you do not speak to us. What on account of these things ought we to do to them? Then El Elyon, the great and holy one, spoke, and sent Asarael to the son of Lamech, saying, Say to him, in my name, conceal yourself, then explain to him the consummation which is about to take place. For all the earth shall perish, the waters of a deluge shall come over the whole earth, and all things which are in it shall be destroyed. And now teach him how he may escape, and how his seed may remain in all the earth. Again Yahweh said to Raphael, Bind Azazel hand and foot, cast him into darkness, and opening the desert which is in the Dudael, cast him there, throw upon him hurled and pointed stones, covering him with darkness. There shall he remain forever. Cover his face that he may not see light, and in the great day of judgment let him be cast into the fire. Restore the earth which the angels have corrupted, and announce life to it, that I may revive it. All the sons of men shall not perish in consequence of every secret by which the watchers have destroyed, and which they have taught their offspring. All the sons of the men shall not perish in consequence of every secret by which the watchers have destroyed, and which they have taught their offspring. All the earth has been corrupted by effects of the teaching of Azazel. To him therefore ascribe the whole crime. To Gabriel also Yahweh said, Go to the bastards, to the reprobates, to the children of fornication, and destroy the children of fornications, the offsprings of the watchers, from among men. Bring them forth, and excite them one against another. Let them perish by mutual slaughter, for length of days shall not be theirs. They shall all entreat you, but their fathers shall not obtain their wishes respecting for them. For they shall hope for eternal life, and that they may live, each of them 500 years. To Michael, likewise Yahweh said, Go and announce his crime to Shemiezer, and to the others who are with him, who have been associated with women, that they might be polluted with all their impurity. And when all the sons shall be slain, when they shall see the perdition of their beloved, bind them for 70 generations underneath the earth, and to the day of judgment, and to the consummation until the judgment, the effect of which will last forever, be completed. Then shall they be taken away into the lowest depths of the fire of torments, and the confinement shall they be shut up forever. Immediately after this shall Shemiezer together with them burn and perish. They shall be bound until the consummation of many generations. Destroy all the souls addicted to lust, and the offspring of the watchers, for they have tyrannized over mankind. Let every oppressor perish from the face of the earth. Let every evil work be destroyed. The plant of righteousness and the restitute appear, and its produce become a blessing. Righteousness and restitute shall be forever planted with delight. And then shall the Kodashim give thanks, and live until they have begotten 1,000 children, while the whole period of their youth and their Shabbats shall be completed in peace. In those days all the earth shall be cultivated in righteousness. It shall be wholly planted with trees and filled with benediction. Every tree of the delight shall be planted in it, and in it shall vines be planted, and the vines which shall be planted in it shall yield fruit to satiety. Every seed which shall be sown in it shall produce for 1 measure 1,000, and 1 measure of olives shall produce 10 presses of oil. Purify the earth from all oppression, from all injustice, from all crime, from all impiety, and from all pollutions which is committed upon it. Exterminate them from the earth. Then shall all the children of men be righteous, and all the nations shall pay me divine honors and bless me, and all shall adore me. The earth shall be cleansed from all corruptions, from every crime, from all punishment, and from all suffering. Neither will I again send deluge upon it from generation to generation forever. In those days I will open the store chambers of blessings which are in heaven, that I may cause them to descend upon earth, and upon all the works and labor of men. And truth and peace shall associate with the sons of men all the days of the world, in every generation of it. So now that we've read it once, and I guess those who aren't serious about salvation have already gotten out of here, I'm going to go over a few things just to, give a little bit more knowledge of some things that I've studied that may help you as well put together some things that you've studied. So one right here, it says, behold, he comes with 10,000 of his Kodashim, holy ones, to execute judgment upon them and destroy the wicked and reprove the carnal for everything which the sinful and wicked have done and committed against him. The book of Revelations also speaks about how Jesus will come back with 10,000 of his saints, and they'll be riding on horses, right, in the skies. So this book was written way before the book of Revelations, okay? But John had a similar vision, okay? Yeah, he described it differently, but it's very similar, okay? Another thing over here that I wanted to get at is how wisdom shall be given to the elect, all of whom shall live, and not again transgress by impiety or pride, but shall humble themselves, possessing prudence, and shall not repeat transgression. Right now we're seeing a seed of Elohim arise that is not falling for the lies of the government, so to speak, right? And they're speaking up in the name of God, okay? And this wisdom comes from the Holy One, okay? A lot of the times that the wisdom that they're speaking, the true chosen elect of God, okay? Another thing that I want to get at is from 7, it talks about from 7 to I think 8 or 9, it talks about the fallen angels that took women and how they bore beasts, okay? It says here that they bore Nephilim, and the Nephilim bore Nephilim. The Nephilim brought Nephilim, and the Nephilim brought Eliudad. All right. If we look at and how these things are 300 cubits, size of mountains. If we look at Greek mythology, okay, they speak about gods that were called Titans that were the size of mountains. Okay, and they speak about how they had children and how their children were Zeus. All right. And how Zeus had children, Zeus, Apollo, different things like this, and how these gods had children, and these children were people like Achilles, okay? And it doesn't go further than that. So the Greek mythology itself lines up as well with this, okay? And has actually been revealed to me as well that a lot of these, the Shiva gods in India, a lot of the gods, that lowercase g, of course, that people call gods and different things like this did exist, but they were sons of the fallen angels, okay? And they devoured men, and they wanted men to worship them. And this is actually part of the large reason why the Lord brought the flood, because when these creatures, one, were devouring men and also teaching them things that they weren't ready for, it brought mass iniquity upon the world, and it was too much to bear. So the Lord had to destroy it and restart again, okay? Another thing that I wanted to get at, let me find it real quick. Yeah, so you'll notice, right, after they taught all the men these things, iniquity increased on the earth, and it got to the point where the cries of the people went up to the gates of heaven. And so once they got to the gates of heaven, the archangels, Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Suriel, Uriel, they petitioned God, and God made a decision, which he knew he would at the time was coming, but he made a decision to bring judgment upon the earth, okay? And he also talks about, let's see if I can find it, but he ever talks about how he will bind the angels when he makes this judgment, and how they will be bound for 70 years. We just read, I'm sorry, I can't see right now, but how they'll be bound for 70 generations. How they'll be bound for 70 generations. And depending how you look at generations, if we look at, this is on the research that I've done back in the day, but a biblical generation is probably like 70, 85 years, okay? Because if you look at, oh man, should have researched this before, but I think it's like the book of Matthew. It talks about 14 generations. It speaks about the generations of Christ. It speaks about 14 generations. And this took about 1,085 years. So if you do the math, it comes down to about like 70, 85 years. And then if you also look at Abraham, Abraham didn't have children, didn't have his first child until he was about a generation in. So when we do the math, it comes out to, so as well, when you look at this, okay, when they were put in bounds and chains, if you do the math, it was also a little bit before the flood, okay, when he was put in stones, when the Azazel and that were put in stones. Anyway, what I'm really getting at, if you do the math, it actually comes out to around like this time period. It actually comes out to around like this amount of time. We might be like 20, 30, 40 standard deviations off from this time, from the time that the math of this book that was written way back in the day, thousands of years ago, says. Okay. And then another thing, if you look at the signs that Jesus spoke about, they're here. And then also, if you look at the technology that has been increased over the past 100 years, it's definitely fallen angel technology. It's not our technology. Because another thing that I've realized that the Spirit actually confirmed to me is sometimes in Egypt, right, you'll see these creatures they may have like eagle heads and human bodies, or whatever it might have, dog head and human body, but you'll notice that they're carrying something, like they're carrying a purse. That purse is actually like a heavenly iPad, okay? So, our phones, there's just so much heavenly technology on the earth right now. It talks about how in this time they taught them how to cut roots and do different things like that. Root cutting is also like the pharmaceuticals that we have now, how people take the opioids, cut the roots of the opioids, and make drugs out of them. Okay, so that's another example. Even the war machines, because the people did not know how to make war machines. It speaks about the war machines over here. The people did not know how to make war machines, and now if we look at the war machines that we have, they're unbelievable. So a lot of the signs are here, okay, and it just goes to testify that the book of Enoch is very likely true. I'm going to continue to read it. Definitely tune in. I'm going to title these books Readings of Enoch or something like that, but definitely tune in, because the book of Enoch, all the books of the Bible can speak to your soul, okay, but this is just another book that's not in the 66 books that they have for us. And one thing we've got to realize as well, one of the forbidden texts, it's not forbidden, it's in the Ethiopian Bible and a lot of other Bibles as well. See, I have it right here. But in other forbidden texts, it also speaks about how in the last time period, the last maybe 500 years or something like that, how the hearts and minds of men will be blinded. Okay, so we're definitely living in a time like that, because there's just so much knowledge that they've taken away from us. Okay, so definitely pay attention. It's all love out here. Holla at your boy. Much love.